Doge Caucus Chair, Senator Jamie Ernst. Quick question. Is all of that fraud, waste, and abuse, is it concentrated in blue states?
Well, of course, we know that fraud, waste, and abuse will happen in every state, unfortunately. But yes, there is a lot of incidents of funny business in our blue states, which is why those blue states are refusing to hand over their data to Agricultural Secretary Brooke Rollins. So I am working on an effort right now. We do hope to focus those SNAP dollars on nutrient-rich foods. But what we have found is in the Biden administration, they opened up SNAP dollars to be used at fast food restaurants in 9 states. So we saw $524 million of SNAP benefits being used at fast food restaurants in only 9 states. And guess what, Stuart? Those 9 states are blue states.
Yeah. This is sad, but the Trump administration, USDA, they're basically saying to these blue states that are refusing to give the data that we're not going to give you funding for your SNAP benefits. There's blue states that are not trying to give the data to the USDA, the Trump administration, to give them the data about the SNAP benefits because they know that data is going to uncover a lot of fraud, a lot of immigrants being paid and using. A lot of people that are refugees, asylum seekers are on SNAP benefits. They have not gotten better. But the sad thing about this is $524 million of these SNAP benefits has been used at fast food restaurants. So who's the 9 states? California, Arizona, Michigan, Rhode Island, Maryland, Illinois, and Virginia. This is blue states. Most of them are blue. But the thing is, though, if you're on SNAP benefits, you shouldn't be eating unhealthy. You should be eating the way you're supposed to be eating. You're supposed to be eating nutrient-dense food. This is why I've always been in favor of let's not give them money. Let's just give them the nutrient-dense foods ourselves. Let's start working with food banks because as you see, the people that get these SNAP benefits, they're not being mindful of their health. They don't care. This is the reason why we have rising healthcare costs because they go and get the SNAP benefits, but then they get sick. Then they can't afford the healthcare, so they have to rely on the government to get healthcare free as well. All that doing is taxing the taxpayer. There's no way that you are on SNAP benefits and you should be fat. I'm sorry. It doesn't make any sense to me. If you're on SNAP benefits, you should be the skinniest person in the world. I'll tell you this right now. I lived in Africa, played basketball in Africa, and I saw with the rich and the poor, I saw the difference. What was the difference? Who was fat and who was not. See, in America, the fat people are the poor people, and the rich people are the skinny people. In Africa, the fat people are the rich people, and the skinny people are the poor people. There's no way that you should be living off of the government and be fat. It doesn't make any sense. There's no way that if you live off the government, you should be fat. You should be the fittest person in the world because you will be eating only nutrient-dense foods. That's why I'm glad that they are starting to say, you know what, no soda, no chips. Let's get rid of all of that. You can't have that on SNAP benefits because we are starting to see the correlation. You eat bad, you need insurance because you made yourself sick because of the food that you eat. These people aren't choosing the best foods when they're using SNAP benefits. They're getting the saltiest, sugariest stuff in the stores, and then they become fat. Their kids become fat, and then who pays for that? America. But what's sad is that these states that are refusing to give the data, they know they did wrong. They don't want that in the media. But eventually, if they don't do it, then they won't get funding. What I like about what Trump is doing, say what you want to say, oh, he doesn't talk nice. I don't need you to talk nice, bro. I just need you to have some results. And this is what he's doing. He's uncovering the fraud, and he's giving it to the media to say, look, I told y'all. Don't listen to them. Let's just go off the numbers. $524 million has went to fast foods off of SNAP benefits. That means $524 million from American taxpaying citizens have went to people that eat badly, that need insurance, and they can't do nothing for themselves, or they refuse to go to work. See, it's funny, though. When they go to work, they won't be eating that stuff because they can't afford it. That's why I like the fact that they implemented that new rule and said you need to at least do 20 hours a week, volunteering, working, something. You ain't just be sitting on your ass and just getting this food, getting fat, and then getting sick, and then America's going to pay for that. No more. So I definitely love this, and I just love the fact that we have administration that's just saying, you know what, y'all don't want to help. You don't want to give us the data because you know that data is going to make y'all look bad. We just won't give y'all the money. Then you have your own SNAP program. Do what you want. But it's just funny how these states, they rely on the federal government, but they don't want to listen to the federal government. Why would you bite the hand that feeds you? That like makes no sense to me.
That's a lot of money on nuggets and fries.
Senator, I know an awful lot of folks who live in red states who are not happy about paying for blue state corruption. You think you
That's
can
right.
you can really make some changes here, though, right?
Yes, I do think so, Stuart. I have an act, it's called the Mixcuse Me Act, which would disallow those SNAP benefits being used at fast food restaurants. Again, we want to make sure that those hungry families, those food insecure families actually are receiving benefits, but we want them to really use those dollars on nutrient-rich foods.
Got it.
And you're not going to find those at fast food restaurants.
Senator, I'm sure you saw this, but President Trump has promised to rebuild Dulles Airport in Northern Virginia. Just watch.
We as Americans have to have common sense. Common Sense University is coming soon. But we as Americans have to have common sense and understand that if it doesn't make sense, then let's not do it. Does it make sense for somebody to not have money that doesn't want to work? Does it make sense for them to eat bad? No. Why? They get sick. They can't afford the food, so they can't afford their insurance. So they're getting on programs where the insurance is being paid for. How about we just give them nutrient-dense food and give them food that they actually need so they don't get sick? It's common sense. That's what it is. It's just common sense. Ah, that makes sense, Marcus. That does make sense. It's not racist. It's not elitism. It's not it's not fascism. It's not whatever you want to say. It's just common sense. Let's call it common sensism. Let's just call it that. Because, hey, if you are going through hard times, yes, you need to get food. But you don't need to be eating the Cheetos and the Doritos. You don't need to be eating the General Mills cereal that's sugary. You don't need to be eating the fried chicken strips, the nuggets. You don't need that. Because all that does is make you sick. You don't need the fried foods. You need nutrient-dense food that you can eat that's not going to tear you up, give you what you need, and you can keep going while you're going to get a job and everything like that. But for states to be jackasses and not get the data, and then they want to use the courts to block it and then say, oh, we're protecting privacy and you're going to use this against us, against immigrants. Absolutely, they're going to use it because we're going to find out from these blue states how many of these people that you guys are saying are helping America are on these SNAP benefits. They were saying that 80% of the Somalians in Minnesota are on SNAP benefits. So why are they here? They're not even being a contribution to society. They're on SNAP benefits. So why do we need them here in America? If you're on SNAP benefits, what are you doing? And that's just not just Somalians. That's just what's being reported. But what about all the other cultures that come here and get on SNAP benefits, and then they get on SNAP benefits, work these jobs, and only get paid cash so they can have the SNAP benefits and the cash? I just think that the jig is up for these people that are doing that. And I'm not saying all immigrants are bad. I know there's some good working, hardworking immigrants that come here, but there's probably one out of every 100 immigrants that are here that are good people, that are actually doing something with themselves, that are actually in America to be a contribution to America and not being loyal to anybody else's soil. They being loyal to this soil. That's, for me, is what I want from immigrants. And I'm proud of the immigrants that come here and do that. But there's a lot of immigrants that come here, whether you came here as a refugee, asylum seeker, now you're naturalized, but you're still cheating the system. You're not making yourself better. You're making yourself worse. You're putting yourself in a position to continue to live off of SNAP, but then you're still depending on the government because you need housing. You need insurance. You're getting sick by eating this food. You're just not making America better. So this is what I'm about. Make America better. Make it better. Me as a taxpaying citizen, American citizen, should not be paying taxes for people that ain't doing shit in America. They just living off of America. This is the reason why we're in debt. It's because of these type of things. We shouldn't be having these SNAP programs where it's taking care of people that just became American or they're refugees and asylum seekers. This is why the blue states are scared shitless to give these data reports, because the one thing we always say is what? The numbers don't lie. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. As always, we'll keep this thing rocking. And also, too, when you subscribe, make sure you hit the notifications so we can get these viewers up. But as always, I'm going to keep this thing rocking. And you already know what I'm going to say. The Daily Show coming soon.